So I watched Dell or Alienware announce their gaming laptop lineup for 2022, and a lot of it is just updates to their current chassis. So the X15 is getting new Intel CPUs, the M15 is getting the latest specs, but the laptop that truly caught my interest was the X14. This is a new addition to the lineup, and don't get me wrong, it looks absolutely gorgeous, but I don't think it's gonna survive. You know, Dell is calling this the thinnest 14-inch gaming laptop, but when you look at the actual weight, which is 4 pounds, that's the exact same weight as the ASUS G14 and the Blade 14. So even though you're thinner, you still weigh the same. But the biggest problem I have with it is the GPU options. It only offers an RTX 3060 at 60 watts, boosts up to 85 watts with dynamic boost, which is what the ASUS G14 could do last year. If you take a look at the 14-inch competition today, the Blade 14 has a 3080 Ti. The G14 has an RX 6800S that runs at 105 watts. And if you're taking history into consideration, we know that Alienware is going to price this laptop very high, which makes it a tough recommendation when you compare it to the other two laptops that are currently coming to the market. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things I like about this laptop. For example, all the ports are on the back, like literally all of them. 3 USB Type-C ports, 2 of them are Thunderbolt 4. You have an extra USB-A port for your older stuff. There's an HDMI port, and of course you have a headphone jack and a micro SD card slot. I even love the way this thing looks. It looks absolutely awesome for a gaming laptop. The keyboard keys are 1.5 millimeters of travel distance. It has a black keyboard deck with that type of material that feels good on your wrist. But the other thing that kind of irked me was the display. Like the others, it's 14 inches, but you can only spec it with a 1920 by 1080, and that's fine, right? Like 14 inches for 1080 is perfect. And it does do 144 hertz, but the problem I have is the response time. 7 milliseconds. You know, like don't get me wrong, 7 milliseconds is not slow, but when you compare it to the competition, they're currently working with 3 milliseconds and less. Sure, it has NVIDIA G-Sync, which a lot of other laptops are coming with, and it does have advanced Optimus, a mux switch, which the other two laptops have as well. The only benefit or reason to get this over the other two is if you really want an Intel processor, because this can be spec'd with an i7-12800H or a 12900H, while the other two, the G14 and Blade 14, are using the 6000 series from AMD. Now, you can spec it with 32 gigabytes of RAM, which is 16 more than the Blade 14, but it's soldered on to the motherboard. You can't replace any of it yourself. The benefit of the G14 is some of it is soldered onto the motherboard, but they give you a slot which you can upgrade yourself, and you can put a total of 48 gigabytes inside. You can spec it up to 2 terabytes of NVMe M2 SSD. You have a front camera at 720p, but it does have Windows Hello to log you on. And something that's cool that the other two guys are not doing is they're giving you a 130 watt power adapter that uses USB Type-C. So no proprietary charging, it uses USB Type-C. So that's kind of cool. But knowing Alienware and looking at their past, I guarantee this thing is going to be costing you a lot more than a G14, and I feel like the G14 just offers more for the money. And when I think of the pricing of this, which I don't know yet, I have a feeling it's going to be a lot closer to the Blade, then you have to ask yourself a few questions. Like how important is it to have the thinnest laptop at the expense of not having the better GPU or having the better display? Because those are questions you're going to have to ask yourself when you look at your next 14-inch gaming laptop. I'm glad there's another player in the 14-inch space because, let's face it, competition is always a good thing. I just don't think this is going to be the year for the X14. Now, I am going to review it, so if you have any questions about the laptop, let me know in the comments section down below. Stay tuned for more laptop reviews and news coming out of CES. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.